my friends. I'm going to talk to you today about a topic that will probably make some of you very uncomfortable. I'm referring to COVID-19 weight gain. If you've noticed pounds creeping on and you're not quite sure why, you're definitely going to want to watch this video. I'm Ellen Goldman from L&G Coaching. So if you've been struggling with weight gain since the pandemic started, know that you're not alone. Some have taken to calling it the Quarantine 15. Just like the new college student who experiences the Freshman 15, the weight gain that slowly creeps up and often doesn't get noticed initially, too many individuals are experiencing that same uncomfortable feeling, both physically and emotionally, that their weight is out of control. Now, if you're one of the folks who has actually had the opposite occur, you've upped your self-care and actually are finding that you're in the best shape of your life, well, then congrats. You may not need to watch this video. Go about your day, get in your workout, or cook a healthy meal. But if you are concerned about the number on the scale, or someone you care about is struggling, hang around and perhaps share what you learn. Now, if you've never struggled with weight, this can be shocking and confusing. If you're someone who's always battled weight gain, you may be finding the current times more frustrating and difficult than ever. And if you've successfully lost weight in the past and have kept it off, you really might be surprised that lately, keeping to that healthy, happy weight has been way more challenging. Now, in my coaching practice, I teach all my clients awareness is the first step towards change. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I absolutely do not believe that the solution to weight gain is going on a diet. If you want to maintain a healthy weight, you must pay attention to your daily habits. And I believe that's why so many folks are struggling during the pandemic. When it hit and shutdown occurred, our daily lives got turned upside down. Without even realizing it, for so many of us, our habits shifted. And I want to talk about several shifts in habits that can explain why the pounds are creeping on. And once you become aware of that, you will be ready to take the first step towards getting back in control. And don't worry, I am going to be sharing lots of tips with you as well. So let's take a look at some habits. Number one, your daily activity level has probably decreased way more than you think. Especially when we went from those of us that went out of an office and went off to work every day, now to remote work where we no longer have the commute. And we thought that that was going to buy us extra time and it was going to give us the opportunity to do lots of stuff that we didn't do. And maybe you've taken advantage of that time. However, just getting to your car, driving to work, walking in and out of a building. Maybe you live in a city where you were walking on the streets up and down stairs to go to the subway. That has decreased your activity a lot. Many are no longer going to the grocery store. We are getting our groceries delivered, or the things that we need from Amazon delivered to our doorstep. So all that activity of getting to the store, walking around the store, of spending time on our feet, carrying our bundles, bringing them into our home, you don't realize how much activity level that added to. Even during the course of the day of being in an office, maybe you left and you went out to lunch with friends. Maybe you were in the habit of getting up several times and walking to the area that you get a cup of coffee from. All of that adds up. And so you may not realize how much your activity level has decreased, especially when we are trying so hard to shelter at home and decrease the amount of time that we are going out. It adds up, folks. And so we may not need as many calories as we did before. So that's the first thing to take a look at. Ask yourself that question. Has your activity level decreased? The second habit to take a look at is your food intake. And although you may not think that your diet has changed that much, and when I say the word diet, I am strictly referring to what you eat all day long, but let's face it, we are under tremendous stress. And if you happen to be an emotional eater, that has probably increased dramatically. All of us, all over the world, in all corners, we are dealing with stress. And if that has been your MO, your go-to when you're feeling stressed, you may be bringing in way more calories than you realize. And even if you don't tend to be an emotional eater, many are reaching for comfort foods. Again, we're so uncomfortable with this situation that we're living in that we may not recognize the fact that we're reaching for our comfort foods. We go back to our childhood and, when mom and dad took us out for ice cream or used it as a reward or made our favorite meal when we were having a bad day, those things, we may be doing it without even realizing it, reaching for things like macaroni and cheese or mashed potatoes. And, on an every once in a while basis, that's not a problem. But if comfort food has been creeping into your diet on a regular basis, again, there's probably way more calories coming in. So ask yourself that question. Are you bringing foods into the house that you weren't keeping so much before? Are you going for those comfort foods or emotionally eating way more than in the past? If that's the habit that shifted, that's the one to start thinking about. How are you going to manage that and change it? Your exercise routine may have shifted. That might be the habit that's changed dramatically. So perhaps before quarantine and shutdown, you were going off to the gym and you were taking very, exercise classes, spin classes, lifting weights, doing whatever your routine was in the gym. And suddenly you didn't have that place to go. And even if you've attempted to translate and pivot to a different direction, maybe doing more walking or maybe stretching or doing some online yoga, very often when we're working out alone, we don't push ourselves as hard as we do when we've been working with a class or had the camaraderie of somebody by our side to kind of cheer us on and push us a little, or maybe you were working with a personal trainer that you're no longer seeing. So you may think that you've kept up your exercise, but really take a look and see, number one, is it as frequent as it was before? And number two, is it as intense? So if your exercise program has kind of gone down a little bit, maybe that's what you need to turn your attention to. The next big habit is routine. Before the pandemic, whether you worked from home like I did always, or whether you worked in an office, or whether you didn't work, you had a routine to your day. Most of us pretty much had a regular routine that included, when we went to the gym, when we went to the supermarket, when we were working, when we were picking the kids up from daycare or from school. All of those things were a routine, which tended to also mean that we were eating at a fairly regular time. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner were kind of falling at about the same time. We were getting up in the morning and going to sleep at the same time, or generally around the same time. Those habits, that routine for so many fell apart. And believe it or not, even the change in a routine can be changing how you are managing your energy input, which is the fuel and the food that we eat, and our energy output, what we've been talking about, movement and exercise. So take a look at your routine. Even the changes in sleeping patterns can impact weight gain. So that's the very next thing to ask yourself. Has my routine shifted? Have I created a new routine to adjust to life as it is right now? And is that routine supporting living in a healthy, happy body weight? Or are there some issues there that are kind of sabotaging keeping to a healthy weight? So there you go. There's 4 habits to take a look at. Once again, we want to take a look at your daily regular movement. You want to take a look at your eating habits. You want to take a look at your exercise. And you want to take a look at your routine. And then there's one more thing I would like you to think about. And that perhaps is the most important thing. The mindset. How are you thinking about yourself, self-care, even how you look on a daily basis? You know, in the beginning, we kind of thought like, oh, you know, this is going to be a month or 2 of discomfort and an irregular time. But there is no end in sight. We do not know how long this is going to last. So adopting an attitude of, I'll deal with it after the pandemic. I don't want to think about that now. There's so many other things to think about. Well, that, my friends, is an attitude that's going to get you into trouble. And when the pandemic is behind us, we are still going to have lots and lots of problems and issues to correct. Don't make excess weight one of them. It's time to pay attention now. Look at your habits, because awareness is the first step towards change. And then the second one is take a look at your mindset. How are you thinking about this whole issue around making sure that you take good care of yourself? Making sure that you feel okay with the way you look on a day-to-day basis. You know, we're all in our comfy clothes. We're wearing sweatpants or leggings, and we're not putting on our business casual or our jeans that would make us notice when things are starting to feel tight and uncomfortable. So let this be kind of a wake-up call. Let's pay attention to where you're at, mainly for one reason more than anything. It's time to make sure that you are taking care of your health. And your weight is directly impacted by your health. Your health is directly impacted by your weight. And if you are beginning to carry an unhealthy amount of excess weight, the time to do something about it is now. So I would love for you to give me some feedback about whether or not this discussion has shifted your thinking a little bit. If you want to know whether you're kind of stuck in a mindset that's not paying the right attention to this, I'm going to put a link right below this video to a special report that you can pick up. It's at Stop the Detours and Pave Your Way to Permanent Weight Loss. I think it will be really helpful for you to see, you know, what's my mindset right now when it comes to this whole issue, and what are some steps that I can take immediately to start getting this under control if it's slipped out of control. So thanks so much for listening in. I sincerely hope that this was helpful. If you liked it, please give it the thumbs up and absolutely share it with others who you would believe might benefit. If you've enjoyed this, if it's been valuable for you, please subscribe so that you will know when other videos are posted. And as always, I would enjoy your comments below. Let me know how this has made you think. And please go out there and do your best to create healthy habits today.